say thank you.
We're dying. The last week has been the hardest week of my life. But no, we were gonna record. Welcome to the episode, by the way. We have to do that so that we can like fade the music out. Otherwise, the music's just gonna play for an hour.
Hey, episode 16.
Yeah, we're humming along here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we were gonna record last weekend, and then Mother Nature jizzed all over the Midwest.
Oh my gosh, so many times back to back.
It's just like multiple orgasms all over the roads of Michigan. So we decided that maybe the weather was a little too intense last weekend and didn't record. But now we are here. That's what's important.
Yeah, the weather, clear skies, spring is ahead.
Yep. I'm really looking forward to the 4 days of spring we're gonna get this year.
Before it's scorching.
Oh yeah. I anticipate, like, we've been locked down inside of our houses all winter because like it's been cold. Mm-hmm. We're gonna be locked down inside of all our houses all summer because it's gonna be so hot. I'm predicting that right now.
Yeah, I mean, this winter it hasn't even been fun temps like to be like, oh, let's go and do X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
It's been way too cold to do it.
Yeah, and everybody makes fun because it's been so cold that I'm like, I don't even want to go to open mics. Like, I just don't want to leave my house. It's like cold, you know?
Yeah, I thought you were about to say bathhouses.
Well, I'm still doing that, you know? Why wouldn't I do that? They have steam rooms. You can warm right up, you know? But yeah, we're like a month removed now from the special. How do we feel about the post? Let's do a post-mortem on the special.
It feels good. It feels like a relief now that it's over.
Yeah.
I don't feel, since it's not out at all yet, I don't feel bad about still doing some of the jokes on there. It's fun to write again and not be focused on just trying to punch up old things. Mm-hmm. So that's been my only motivator for going to open mics is, yes, I can finally run wild again with these weird premises.
Yeah.
But I was nervous and I was not anticipating, especially for the first show, how much people were willing to laugh at things.
That first show was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the early show was wild. I thought the late show was going to be the one that would get like huge reactions. I thought the first I don't know, I felt like the early show was going to be like the sleepy one, and it was kind of the opposite.
Yeah. I think if we had started on time, the second show would have been better.
Yeah, but like we had to turn the room around and stuff like that, so
but I stepped on like a few of my laughs, which I know they can edit that out. But there's so many parts that I'm not used to getting
laughs on.
Where I could feel my face making that look too.
Like that? You're gonna laugh at that? I think I'm kind of offended that you laughed at that.
Yeah, now I question the authenticity of the laughs on all the other things. It feels like you're pandering.
Audience pandering to the comic. No, please like us. Please like us. Wouldn't that be the dream?
I am still trying to figure out which show he is going to use for the wide angle. I told him my favorite one was the first show. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if that's going to be the main shot or if he's going to use for the whole room view the late show, and then for the close-ups then just
I think for the wide shot it probably would be better to do the late show just because there were more people, and the way the room was set up, I think was maybe a little bit better. But like I think the majority of the actual material should maybe come from the early show.
Yeah, I definitely felt like I had more fun with that.
Yeah.
I felt so bad about I was very excited for like the music, because you and Santiago and Babish were like the only three that knew I was gonna do it, and I was like, "This is for me."
That was very funny. I don't want to spoil it. Is it going to be on the special?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, he said that he might play with it.
It could be funny to like do the whole sequence. Like it could be funny to just leave that in. Like I don't want to spoil it, but like to just leave the whole thing, just like leave it all in. Like that could be very funny, especially like people who know you would, I think, really appreciate that. Like people who don't know you might be like, why the fuck would you leave that in? But people who know you be like, that's Sam. It's like the most Sam way to start a special, you know?
Yeah. I hope.
Like, yeah, I mean, like your friends and like people like, and like, fans that like are familiar with you, like I think that group of people, which is probably not very big, would look at that and be like, that's awesome.
But that's what I want around me, is like people who would get that and be like,
yeah. People who don't know you would be like, what the fuck is going on?
And if you are confused watching this, I asked Mike Babish, who's doing a fabulous job putting it together, if we could start a show a certain way, and we agreed upon then me just doing it for the early show as a throwaway, potentially, because I said it would be helpful for my nerves if I could just be silly and be myself for one of them, and we agreed to do it for the early show and did not do it for the late show. And I think that also really helped the early show be, I think, more fun for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it maybe like kind of let everybody know that like you can not take this serious. Like this is fun. Like we're here to have fun, But yeah, no, I mean, I think, both shows were great, but the early show was like definitely like incredible. And I mean, just watching it, like I think you're going to have a very good special.
I hope so.
Just seeing like, cause like we all, like everybody that opened on the show, we all got our clip as well. And I'm sure Babish put like a fraction of the effort into our clips that he's going to put into like the special itself. And my clip is like, this is the best clip I've ever fucking had. Like quality, like the picture, the image quality, the lighting, the sound. Like I'm like, this is the best clip I've ever gotten.
That like makes me excited because I know that you like are like a very like a stickler for visual.
Well, I mean, when for like things that matter, like our podcast, I am. But yeah, no, I mean, like just the clip that he sent me was like really, really, really good. So I'm sure he probably just kind of whipped that up because he was just trying to get it out. Yeah. So I can only imagine what it's gonna be when he like actually is like super focused and taking his time.
Yeah, I'm excited with how dedicated he is. Like, because he sent me a picture of him working on it, and he had like dual monitors set up going, and it's wild how many layers he like has to it to be able to watch both shows, both sets, and be able to take like bits and pieces. Yeah.
I'm excited to see the special when it comes out.
I have a whole vision board set up for my hopes for it. Because in my mind, the economy is going to crash. And then labels are going to like be like, we don't have money to produce our own. We're going to want more independent artists.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be so early in the crash where a lot of famous people are like, I'm not taking that deal. That's a terrible deal, but I will take it.
That's funny. You're going to be like a scab on the comedy scene.
We're the pandemic, how so many like famous stand-ups just started touring again and doing like gobbling, like Pac-Manning all these club spots that they would never have done pre-pandemic.
We're gonna Pac-Man your record deals. How about that? your album and special deals. We're gonna Pac-Man those. No, yeah, I don't. Yeah, like everything sucks right now. like it is completely just falling apart, kind of. On the bright side, though, I mean, I don't know if it's the bright side. I do think the people who are just destroying everything right now, I think they're more panicked right now than they've ever been.
Have you seen the town halls?
That's what I'm saying. Because I think they've gotten arrogant and pushed things so far to the right that it's like, I think even too much for people who are just on the right. And it's like they thought that they could just pull everyone who was already supporting them with them, but it's in a weird way kind of pushing them back in the other direction. Like, well, because here it's like, it's kind of like, so the playbook up until now has always been small incremental steps to the right. Like that was always kind of like the plan was like, you make these small steps, maybe every now and then you do one that's like a little bit bigger but not too crazy, and you just make these small incremental movements to the right. And when you do it that way, I think you do kind of like, it's almost like a lint roller, you know, like you're rolling along the shirt and you're picking up all the lint and it's coming with you. But like they've since like, what is it, January 12th? Is that when the next president officially takes over? Like the 12th or 15th or something, like the 20th? Mm-hmm. Is it the 20th? Since that day, it hasn't been like a slow lint roller. It's been a rocket, and boosters don't pick anything up. Boosters shoot everything back.
That's such a good analogy.
And that's what it kind of feels like. It kind of feels like the people who've been on that side all this time are kind of like, whoa, this is too much. Like, I mean, obviously there's some people that are, you know, mentally ill and they're like, this is great. But like what I'm seeing from most sane people is like, this is crazy. Like, this is not what we wanted, you know?
Yeah. It's been interesting to see folks who were like kind of supportive, be hit by like the layoffs and all that. I'm like, oh, you didn't think that you would also be negatively impacted?
Well, but they voted for him. He was going to protect them. Like, you were going to get laid off unless you voted for him. Because, you know, there's a tally. He has a report on his desk that he can just reference whenever, and he can be like, "Wait, am I firing this? But did they vote for me? Okay, they voted for me. No, don't fire that person." That's how that works, you know.
Oh, I've become a troll online though, because at first I was getting in legitimate debates with these people.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Don't ever debating is the most worthless form of communication.
But then I was like, okay, I'm gonna like make this funny for myself. And I went to this one woman's page, and she had a bunch of pictures of her children, and I knew, because a lot of women, especially on the right, are pretty vain. I commented on, I was like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be as judgmental, because she was commenting on a post saying, oh, this person got this very specific degree and wants us to pay for their student loans. And never are student loans mentioned in the article. She just made this assumption.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe if you had more schooling, you'd know not to put pictures of your grandchildren on Facebook. And she's like, those aren't my grandchildren. And I have 2 degrees in statistics, stalker. And I was like, are they your great grandchildren?
That's my niece.
Like, apparently they didn't make you take classes in the statistics of child predators.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just been staying out of it. I don't have the like the fire in me anymore, you know? Cuz like I don't know, it's just these people are truly like without shame. So the fun in trolling is like making them angry. But if you're without shame, then there's no way that you can make someone angry, you know? Mm-hmm. Like short of just being like completely repulsive, but that's not trolling. Like there's an art form to trolling, you know? There is. Like it's not like I'm not doing this like grotesque, just like pissing you off to piss you off. I'm trying to do it in a smart, intelligent way. Mm-hmm. And like if you, like I said, if you have no shame, then there's just no angle that you can take on that.
Yeah.
You know, like, because you don't care. So
the part that makes me super hopeful though is that on Friday night, they laid off a ton of high-ranking military people.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And
wait, this past Friday?
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Last night.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Well, I am excited because they are laying off a lot of people who know how to use guns and who know like military intelligence.
Yeah, and also like you just laid me off. So what do you think I'm gonna do? Like, here's the last time we tried to like fire or lay someone off in such a high-ranking position, our president got his brains blown out in the middle of the day in public. That's what happened the last time we tried to lay people off like that.
Yeah, and it was like across all the like Navy, Army, Marines. I'm like, oh, they're gonna link up with all the FBI folks that got laid off.
Yeah,
they're gonna know how to do some damage, discreetly. I mean, probably in broad daylight.
Yeah,
that would be. Oh, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think people were like freaking out those first few days because they were just so brazenly doing it and like unapologetic, and they were just doing it in a way that was like, yeah, we're doing it. What are we gonna do about it? But like, there have been things since then that are like, it's just to me, it's a tell that they're sort of freaking out a little bit. Like Elon Musk trying to like backpedal now on being part of Doge. Like he's like, I'm not part of Doge. I'm just a consultant. You know, I'm not in there. I'm consulting them. Like if they have a question, I answer it. I'm not making any decisions. And it's like, oh, you're afraid you're gonna go to jail now. That's what's happening. And then laying off all these military people. If he is like worried about that, laying off all these military people is the dumbest thing you could have possibly done. And so please keep telling me this guy's a genius. Please convince me this man is a genius. The man who is like freaking out because he knows he's doing illegal shit and could possibly go to prison for it. What should I do? What should I do? Oh, I'm going to lay off the people who are most likely going to be the ones that like physically take me to prison. You know? Like they're not the ones that are going to prosecute him, but like who do you think is going to have to like go get him to take him to the prison? Like if you got those guys on your side, a judge says you're guilty, you're going to jail, those people will just be like, I don't know, it's gonna be interesting how he gets there. But now you just made an enemy of those people. So like what do you think is gonna happen now, you fucking idiot?
And I love that they won't respond to memos, and they're like, "Who's in charge of Doge?"
Dude, he is so listen. He is so committed. He is so committed to not responding to memos that when Grimes started texting him because his son was sick, he wouldn't respond to that. So she had to go to Twitter and start tweeting at him on Twitter to be like, "Hey, this is kind of like it's a fun game, but this is kind of serious now. You got to answer my texts because your child is like really sick and needs your help." And then he shadow banned her so that people couldn't see the tweets.
What a turd.
Yeah. Most awful person maybe that has ever lived.
Yeah. I just can't get over how idiotic he is. I miss when that kid was posting his flight patterns.
Oh yeah, that was great. Well, I really think that's what made him buy Twitter, because Twitter was like, we're not going to do anything about this. Like Twitter was like, no, we're not going to take this account down. And he tried to pay the kid to take the account down. The kid was like, no, I'm not taking the account down. And then that's when he like bought Twitter, and then that's when he finally got the account down.
Do you think all of his crazy moves will encourage some corporations who were on the fence about leaving Twitter to have an exodus?
I think most of the companies that were going to do that have done that. I think whoever is still there likes what he's doing. Like I don't think any of the just look at like how everybody's just like bending the knee, like Zuckerberg.
Oh man, that's embarrassing.
That is so embarrassing, the way he just like immediately, I don't want to go to jail.
And changed his wardrobe too.
So the funniest description of that I've heard so far is on Twitch. They keep saying he got hit with the Dominican ray. So that's the funniest description of that I've heard. But like, yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Like, he's such a fucking pathetic, pitiful man. Like he really is. He's such a fucking pathetic, pitiful person. Like he has been running away from the origin of Facebook for his entire adult life, basically. Because like he did steal it. He stole it. He 1000% stole it. Just come forward and just say, yes, I stole this. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, like, but he won't acknowledge that he stole it. And then he won't acknowledge that he like totally fucked over his partner. Like, he's done so much fucking goblin behavior and just does not want to admit to it. And he's going to be running for the rest of his fucking pathetic life.
Well, does he have that island now?
Yeah. I mean, well, he had to buy that island because like that's his only hope. Because if things really go bad, no one is like rushing out there to help Mark Zuckerberg. Like, the only chance he has to survive anything, like any sort of like major catastrophe, is to just be isolated away from the population, because the population will rip him to shreds once he loses his protection of money.
Yeah, I just can't get over it. Like, how long do you think that will be?
What?
Before like the general public completely turns on all of the oligarchs here.
I mean, I think like from like a political and from like a financial perspective, it's starting. Like anything further than that would literally have to be like the fall of the planet. Like anything further than just like legal repercussions or financial repercussions, that's going to take like society has imploded on itself and we are in chaos now. But as long as we're in a society, it'll just be, like I said, legal and financial shit. And that, I feel like that's not that far away. I feel like that's like, like I heard the other day, like Elon has like a ton of class action lawsuits going against him right now. And if even like just 2 or 3 of them actually stick, he will be bankrupt. Like that's, I have not looked into that. I heard that like on YouTube or a podcast or something somewhere, but like I think it's turning. I think it is turning, and I don't think it's that far. I mean, I don't think it's like next year, but I don't think it's that far away.
Yeah, it's incredible. Do you think he believes that he is truly invincible? Or
Yes, I do. He's on ketamine. He's literally on ketamine. So yes, I do think he thinks he's invincible. Like I think he thinks he's invincible. I think he thinks he's a genius. I think he thinks that like he's like better than everyone. And it's like, sure, he keeps getting like the upper hand, but that's because he has like $400 billion. Like if you don't get the upper hand on everybody with $400 billion, like you are the most incompetent person that's ever lived. You know, like anybody with that much money can get the upper hand on anyone always.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't think he's like a particularly like creative or brilliant person. It's just he can just keep throwing money at stuff.
Did you see his entrance for the CPAC thing?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
With the Argentinian president, like that guy. It's like, when do we like stop and look at some of these characters and understand that they're characters? You know what I mean? Like, because there's so many people like that I think people look at and are like, oh, that's a cool guy. You know, like I want a cool guy running my shit. I don't want a cool guy running my shit. Like I want a cool guy to just be cool. Like don't make decisions. That's not your lane. Cool guys don't make decisions. Okay, cool guys just look cool. That's it. That's all. You just stand in the corner, smoke your cigarette, and look cool. That's your lane. That's your place. Your place is not to make decisions. Like the only decision that you should be making as a cool guy is like Marlboro or Camel. That's it. That's the only decision.
Yeah, and it's not like we're getting real cool guys. Like these are people who are trying so hard to be cool.
Well, but that's what I mean. Like so guys that like, so they're gonna be like the lightning rod for guys who wish they were cool. You know what I mean? Like to be, you're just cool. Like you can't you can't aspire to be cool. Like you just are cool. Like if you're a cool person, you just are. You know, and like, but there's so many people that think that they can like learn to be cool, you know? And so like guys like, you know, Elon and Trump and, you know, whoever, and like this Argentinian guy, like they look at guys like that and they're like, oh, that's a cool guy. You know, look at his hair. It's different. You know, like they look at stuff like that and like these weirdos just keep getting away with shit because like we just don't, we're so non-confrontational sometimes that we just will not tell someone like the truth, like like we won't give them honesty, you know, and so then that just gives them more space to continue to like be annoying and do annoying shit, and because they're not particularly like smart or creative or talented, they start to think that they're smart and creative and talented, and then they just start coming up with the worst fucking ideas ever. And because they feel like they've achieved coolness, they feel like they can achieve anything now. So like they just become like these ambitious fucking goblins that just keep pushing further and further and want more power and whatever, you know. When if we just nipped it in the bud and said, you're a dork. If that's all we said, you're a dork, you're a nerd, you just like go read a book. Like, you know, go read a book. Stop trying to like get pussy. Like just it's never gonna happen for you. Just like read books. That's it.
Did you hear about the French guy? The French.
Which one?
Their far right person who was supposed to speak at CPAC.
Not what's her name? Marine Le Pen.
Mm-mm.
Or is it somebody else?
This one guy who was like,
their... I think I did hear. I heard some. I was listening to I was listening to some podcasts. I think I did hear something about it. I don't know anything about it, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so Steve Bannon also did the Nazi salute.
Yeah, well, but you expect that from Steve Bannon.
And the French people are like, we are not comfortable with this. And then they canceled.
I did hear about this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, even like the far right is like
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I did hear about that. I forgot about it, but yeah, you reminded me. I did hear about that.
Yeah, it's just hilarious to me that the people who over in Europe, the people who are being called Nazis are also being like, oh, it is, that is.
Well, I mean, European Nazism is like it's like the Crystal Pepsi to Pepsi. You know what I mean? Like we got the full bodied Nazism here. Everything else is just the imitation. You know, we stole it. Like it obviously it was born and bred in Germany. But we dropped our tariffs long enough to import all of that Nazism and then raised those tariffs back up.
Do you think the 25% on Canada and Mexico will go into effect next
No,
month?
I don't think that's ever going to happen, to be honest with you. I think there's a theory out there saying that he's going to do it anytime there's an uptick in the markets to make them dip again, so that they can just invest money and it'll come back up again after he says, you know what, we'll hold off on that a little bit longer.
That is, it's so gross.
Yeah. It's just a theory. I'm not saying I believe it or not, even though I kind of do. But
Same. So much insider trading.
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of like the theory being floated around, is that like he's kind of just doing it to manipulate the markets.
Could you ever be in politics?
No. I mean, I think I could do it, but I don't want to, because it's going to make me have to interact with people I just don't want to interact with. Like we joke around about like how stand-up attracts some of the worst people.
Yeah.
But like the people that stand-up attracts are people that are truly just like incompetent. Like they truly just can't accomplish things. You know, like they just 1000% just cannot accomplish a thing. Politics attracts people who have a very similar, like that same kind of annoying trait, but they can actually get things done, you know? And I barely want to deal with like shitty comics. Like I really don't want to deal with shitty politicians.
Mm-hmm. I was talking with Santiago about the video I sent you last night, and there's comedy drama per usual in every scene, and he's like, "Wow, stand-up comedy really does attract the most the openly mentally unwell people."
Yeah. Well, because there's no like, I mean, it's kind of like we're beating a dead horse with this at this point. I feel like so many people talk about this, but there's just like there's no barrier to entry. Like anybody can go to any open mic and get on stage. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's the doctor guy that always goes to the Independent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember the first time I was there, when that guy was there, he wanted us to like bump the whole lineup so that he could go up. And the first time he was there, we were all legitimately like, do we know? Like, is this guy somebody? Because like he just came in so confident and acted like, you know, of course you're going to bump this lineup for me, you know? And it was like an older guy. So I'm like, is this guy like a road guy that we don't know about? Like what's going on? And he legitimately wanted us to just like bump the whole lineup so he could go up right, like as soon as he got there. And we're just like, it took us a second. And then we're like, no, this guy's nobody. What is going on? And he does that every time he goes there. Every time he goes there, he tries to like get the whole lineup bumped so he could just go up right away.
Yeah, I've been to other open mics at different places, and I was bumped for him. And I was like, I was looking at the host the whole time during his set.
That's what that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, man. Like the Detroit scene is just so weird. Mm-hmm. Like for so long, I think it's just been like there's been no outlets for so long, and Michigan as a state is just so isolated because of the lakes all the way around that like the only people we have to talk to are Indiana and Ohio. And it's like, okay, cool. Like our only neighbors are the most psychotic. But like, and so like comics that start here and stay here don't go out to other scenes to see how it's like how things are run in other places. And then so all they have is themselves as a reference, and they don't know anything. And so they think that like they listen to a podcast and they hear like these really famous, like legendary, accomplished comics talk about these like stories. And then they themselves are like, well, that's how I have to treat people like below me. Like, cause like they're talking about how like they bump these people and like whatever, they make them carry their bags. Well, like, I've been doing it for 2 years. So like if somebody's just starting right now, that's how I got to treat them. And like, and we have this like whole system that like here in Detroit specifically, that is just like, there's never any pushback. There's like a certain few that if they kind of like anoint you, then you're just the guy. And then like that person usually goes to other places and just like bombs everywhere. And then they come back and everybody's like telling them how great they are.
Yeah.
But then like they go to like to another scene and it's just like they cannot like extract a laugh to save their lives. And it's just so frustrating here.
Mm-hmm. And we're not being super mean people. Like the doctor, for instance, I have seen him perform in multiple venues, and it is not just like he's just not our cup of tea. I have seen him in a bunch of different places. He's not getting any laughs anywhere, and he's not nice. He's not a nice person.
He's not. Well, as evidenced by the fact that he walked into an open mic where he knew no one and just tried to act like we should just be like treating him like royalty.
It's funny to me. So when a lot of doctors, not all doctors, but when a lot of doctors try stand-up comedy, I think it's hilarious to me because in so many other facets of life outside of comedy, that's a status symbol. Being a doctor is a status symbol, and with comedy, we're all on the same page. No, your degree means nothing.
and actually, if you're in front of a crowd that's there for comedy, like a true comedy, like I think comedy fans have the sensibility of a comic. They just don't have like the writing skill, you know, like they're just not like funny the way a comic is funny, but they have the sensibility of a comic. And so if you go on stage and you're like, I'm a doctor, you just like lost the whole crowd. Like if your whole thing is like, listen guys, I'm a doctor, like no one is gonna like you. If it's like something that you talk about in your act and you talk about it in like a humble way or whatever, that's different. But if you're putting that up front at the beginning and expect like that to give you the charitability you need to get through a set, like you're about to bomb everywhere.
If you pack an extra set of scrubs and stethoscope to wear on stage, and not make a joke about it, just do it to really cement the fact that you're a doctor.
That's great. You know what would be hilarious if we just found out he was like a lab tech or something, or just like some like low level like hospital position that it's like low. It's like the lowest level you can be at the hospital where you can still wear scrubs. Like that would be so funny if we found that out.
Oh, I for the sake of patients in hospitals, I hope that's the case, because I would not want to be on an operating table and that be the face that's looking at me.
I don't know. It's got to be okay. So like there was a kid in high school who, this is not to like poor shame, because if he would have just owned that he was poor, he would have been so much cooler. Like we would have liked him so much more if he just like owned that. Like if he was just like, yeah, I'm like, my family is struggling. Like if that was his approach to trying to make friends in high school, no one would have had a problem with this kid. He probably would have been great. We probably would have loved him. But he would come to school every day and he would just have like a wad of cash and just throw it in everybody's face all the time, and like just be like the most obnoxious dickhead ever, like trying to make everybody think that he's like rich and whatever. And I remember one weekend, me and like a bunch of my friends, we like volunteered at this like one of my friends, she would volunteer all the time at the soup kitchen, and then she just like asked us one weekend if we wanted to go do it, and we were all like, yeah, we'll do it. So like one weekend we go and we volunteer at the soup kitchen. We're like, you know, passing out meals and whatever, and who comes walking in? Mr. Moneybags.
What did he do when he saw you?
He was trying so hard to not make eye contact with us. Like he was, I felt his anxiety. Like I felt how uncomfortable he was trying so hard to not look at us. And again, it's not like to say like, oh, look at you, you poor fucking asshole. Like, no, if he just wouldn't have tried to do the whole like, oh, look at this, like if he just didn't do that whole thing, he would have made friends.
Yeah.
You know?
Did he do that after you guys saw him there or no?
I mean, he would, but if he saw, like, I'm sure he did it with my other friends too. But if he ever if he caught me out of the corner of his eye, he would like mute it a little bit. But like, I would still like walk up, and he would still be doing the same thing to like other people.
That is definitely like a hurt people try to hurt.
Oh yeah,
people.
for sure.
Have you kept up with him after
no, I have
school?
no idea what happened to that kid. I have no clue. Like, yeah, he was. I mean, I was like a junior. I think he was a freshman.
Do you look people up when you think of them? Like, are you like, oh, you know what happened to so and so?
Sometimes. Honestly, I don't even remember this kid's name. So even if I wanted to look him up, I couldn't. Because like, I mean, like I said, he was a freshman. I was a junior. He wasn't particularly smart, so he wasn't in any like I mean, I was in like National Honor Society and student council and whatever. He wasn't in that. I was an athlete. He didn't play any sports, so like we never crossed paths. And he was a freshman, so I never had him in any classes. So it was like, I don't know who this kid is. I just saw him in the hallway, like trying to be like big baller, you know, and like being obnoxious about it. Like not even like in a way that he's like. He was very clearly trying to hold this roll of money over people's heads and being like, you should be bowing to me. You know what I mean? It was like very much like that kind of energy. Mm-hmm. And so it was just like seeing him at that like soup kitchen, not volunteering, like at the soup kitchen was just like, okay, yeah, where's that stack right now? You know? Yeah. And again, it's not to shame him for being poor. I don't care. It's just it's the facade. It's him. He is the one who looks poorly on poor people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what's going on there. And it's like that's not like poor people aren't lesser.
Do you think he learned that from his parents?
Oh, of course. Yeah, without, I mean, where else would he get a stack of money like that? Like he definitely got that from his parents.
Yeah. Was this around the .com bubble?
It had to be. I mean, that's when I was in high school. I'm among the first wave that was on the internet, so it had to be around the .com bubble.
Yeah, I wonder if his parents were affected and was like.
No, they were immigrants.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't want to say what country because that'll make this even more weird, but I mean, I will say it's not like a Middle Eastern country or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It is a European country, but I'm not going to say what country.
Yeah,
I think most Europeans will probably know his ethnicity after the description I just gave. Most Europeans will probably know his ethnicity.
Do you think that's something that he grew out of, or do you think he kept that up?
I don't think. I think he probably kept it up. Just
disappointing.
His culture is very similar to my culture. I'm Serbian. Like we are very similar in our cultures. And I'm gonna say no, he didn't grow out of that. Because I just look at most of like my family and whatever, and I'm like, oh no, they didn't grow. Like a lot. I mean, most of my family's gotten more responsible because they're mothers and fathers now, but like they still have the same mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have such a chip on my shoulder about wealth that even Santiago, it's something that gets Santiago, because there's some things that I consider wealthy that he is telling me, no, Sam, that's middle class, that's not wealth. I'm like, that's wealth.
Like what?
Like hot dogs, the bar as hot dogs. Who does not know what bar as hot dogs are? And then I posted that status like, hey, who here would know? And it turns out a lot of people don't know. And I'm like, that is...
Wait, what? It's a specific type of hot dog?
It's a brand of hot dog. It is...
What's it called?
Bar S.
Bar S? I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is so a lot of people just naturally overlook it because you can get 8 hot dogs for 75 cents. And a lot of people, I think their mind's just like, boop, boop, nope, we're not going there. But
I have no idea what Bar S is.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like the brand with like the 2 orange stripes? Is it like similar to that?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that called? There's like a name for that, right? The 2 orange stripe brand.
Oh,
that was way more common when I was a kid. I don't really see that anymore.
So it's like it has like red package, like the little logo. Its logo is red.
Yeah.
My parents so we grew up dirt poor. I mean, Michigan in general has a lower like cost of living, but also lower salary than most of the country. But then the town I grew up in was so much poorer than the rest of Michigan. I didn't realize that. So people who grew up wealthy in our neighborhood would go even just to the rest of the state and not look great. And I didn't learn this until college.
So you would have looked at me like the rich kid in town. And I'm sitting there like, I'm wearing Jordache shoes. Like, these are Pro Wings. It's Velcro. I don't even have laces.
Yeah. So the bar as hot dogs, he didn't know what beanie weenies were. And I'm like, it's a poor staple.
I mean, I've heard the name Beanie Weenies, but I don't know what that is. What? We were immigrants. We were immigrants, which meant my mom would work 60 hours a week and still cook. Like, that's just what my mom did. So like, it was a lot of stews in our house. Like, it was a lot of bean stew, spinach stew, like soup. Like, it was a lot of that kind of stuff. And the only boxed thing that I would get that would be like a whole meal. Like, we did like mashed potatoes and stuff like that. But the only boxed thing that we got that was considered like an entire meal or frozen was Kraft mac and cheese. That was the only. So if my mom didn't have time to cook, there was just like a bunch of Kraft mac and cheese I could just go make for myself.
I'll give him credit. Like, he's from, like, his family's from, like, his mom was a New Yorker, and then the rest of his family is like Caribbean.
Yeah.
And his mom is Puerto Rican as well. But and then he lived in Florida for most of his life too, after they moved there from Puerto Rico. So I'll give him that. Like, I feel like it's more of a Midwestern poor food. But it's like, it's baked beans with hot dogs in it, beanie weenies. And
so SpaghettiOs. So I did do that too. SpaghettiOs with the hot dog in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could have that some nights, and then you could have beanie weenies some nights. And it is the best poor food. And I get cravings for it now. And then we were making frozen veggies one night, and I was like, oh, you can fold it into the mac and cheese. And he's like, vegetables and mac and cheese? I was like, you never did that growing up? That
Keith does that, and it drives me nuts. He'll put peas and carrots in the mac and cheese, and I'm like, ugh. He'll put tuna in the mac and cheese. I'm like, ugh.
I think it's good. We grew up with that too. Beans and cornbread. The Jiffy.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
The Jiffy mix with.
Yeah.
And that's 30 cents for the whole pack, and that can feed a family of 4, plus a can of beans, which was like
So we didn't do like sweet kind of cornbread. We always did like savory cornbread, but like it wasn't like cornbread like you would eat like a loaf or whatever. It was more of like a breakfast thing that my mom would make, and it was like in a baking pan or whatever, and you would just like bake it, and it would get like super like crispy on the outside, and it would be like super soft and fluffy on the inside. And then my mom used to make Greek yogurt at home. Like she would make Greek yogurt. And so you would take the Greek yogurt and water it down just a little bit. And then you would take the cornbread and crumble it up in a bowl and just pour the Greek yogurt over it. And that would be like a breakfast.
Oh, do you still have it now?
I haven't had it in a long time. I keep meaning to ask my mom for like the recipe because I want to make it, because that was like one of my favorite things when I was a kid. I probably wouldn't make the Greek yogurt. I'd probably just go buy the Greek yogurt. But although I mean, I do want to make Greek yogurt just one time. Like I have no idea how you would even do that.
So would that be a comfort food for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like that was like one of my favorite things when I was a kid. Like when my mom would make that, I would be like, oh yes.
What's another comfort food?
Like a thing that my mom made.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Only thing that's coming to mind is like sweets. Like she would make sweets every now and then, and one of the sweets that was like one of my favorites was this like, you get these like big like wafer sheets. They almost look like it's like a square sheet, but it's like a waffle kind of like that kind of cut. And you take hazelnuts and you just kind of crush them up, and you just mix it with like sugar and cream and whatever, and you turn it into like a paste. And then you like put a layer on one of the sheets, and you put another sheet on top, and you layer it and put another sheet and layer it. And then you just kind of like let it sit for a little bit so that it doesn't get soggy, but it softens it a little. And then you kind of like just cut it, like you cut it into strips, and then you cut the strips into kind of like diamonds, and you like eat them like that. And that was like one of my favorite things when I was a kid.
When's the last time you had that?
A long time. I haven't had these things in forever. Another comfort food, not something my mom made, but we would get it from my grandfather's best friend from Macedonia's restaurant. They made this stuff called budek. It's like phyllo dough with like, my favorite one was like ground beef. You like ground up the beef and like season it, and you would put like, the traditional way is like it's a circle, and you put phyllo dough down, and then you put the filling on, and then you put another layer of phyllo dough, and then filling, and another layer and filling until you have like, you know, about a stack like that high. And then you bake it that way. And then when it comes out, it's all crispy on the outside, but then the inside is all like soft and moist. And you kind of just cut it into like a triangle, like a pizza slice basically. And you just like, you eat that. But another way to do it too is like a couple layers like that, but instead of in a circle, you roll it, and then you kind of like fold it into like a horseshoe shape, and then you bake it like that. That I actually kind of liked it that way better than the round way.
That sounds amazing.
It's really good. There's one place that I really, I mean, they make it in a lot of places, but there's one place that I really, really like. It's on like 14 Mile and Ryan, I think. It's like this European market. It's owned by Macedonians. And then there's a restaurant right next to it. I think the restaurant's called like Drago's. They make budek, but you have to like order it ahead, because they just get there early in the morning and just make all the budek, and then you just come pick it up.
Oh, I need to try this. When's the last time we had budek?
That's been a while too, actually. Not as long as the other ones. The budek's only been like a couple years, but like it's been a couple years.
We should have like a comfort food potluck.
Good morning, we're dying comfort food potluck at Sam's.
Alex will bring all the good stuff, and I will have mac and cheese with peas, beanie weenies.
How about this? How about this beanie weenie budek?
Oh.
we're bringing worlds together here, you know. we're bringing poor foods from around the world together.
Oh, if mine could come from a cardboard box or an aluminum can, that is a living. Yeah, I only had one pair of pants in 8th grade, and that's it. I'm like, oh, look at all these people with 3 pairs of pants.
I was a Maxinista.
Oh,
That was the one thing. I mean, this is so. Obviously, as I was going through it, it didn't occur to me. But looking back at my life, that was the one gay trait that I've always had. Was clothing. Like I've, as far back as I can remember, clothes were always like important to me. Like I remember when I broke my arm, like it was a compound fracture. Like my arm was bent. Like I mean, it was like at a 45-degree angle.
Oh. How old were you?
7. And so they had to take me to the hospital because they had to like put it back in place, and the bone kind of came out from it cut my skin open. Like it was a very minor cut, like it wasn't like a big cut, but it like kind of came out and went back in. But because of that, I was in the hospital for like a week because they were afraid I was going to get infected.
Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah, and when they put the cast on me, they put the cast on me. They had to cut like a little window over it so they could like open it and look at it and close it.
Oh.
But anyway, so I had to go to the hospital, and I did it outside of the DIA downtown because it was like the art festival down there, and my friend, his dad, took me, him, and his brother down there, and we're just running around being kids, whatever, and like I fell and I broke my arm, and so they had to take me to the hospital, and I was wearing like my favorite t-shirt. Like it was my favorite t-shirt. And so I get to the hospital, and they're like, we got to get his shirt off, but they can't because it would have to come over my head, and they would like do damage. Yeah. So they're like, we're gonna have to cut it off. And that was when I really started crying. Like my mom had to convince me to let them cut my shirt off of me. And I finally caved in and let them. But it was like one of those moments, like, you know how like in a war film there's always that moment where like you're faced with a reality and you don't want to accept it, but then you do accept it, but you still don't like it. It was like one of those moments, like as they're cutting the shirt off of me, I'm just like one single tear is like coming down. So, like, you know?
Did you want to keep the fabric, or were you like throwing it?
No, I was like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it like this. But yeah, I mean, like just in retrospect, that's the one gay trait that I've always had my entire life. Like just clothes, fashion, whatever. Like, and not that I'm like a fashion mogul or anything like that, but like, you know, I like to put together a little outfit, you know, which is why I was a Maxinista as a kid.
We didn't have a TJ Maxx up in or like near us. The closest thing we had was a Burlington Coat Factory.
I did I was a Burlington Coat Factory head too. I did all of them: Burlington, TJ Maxx, Marshalls.
My sister and I didn't discover that until a bit later. We got our winter coats, but my parents wouldn't really let us like explore the other parts.
No, you don't look over there. No, you look over here.
We did the food stamps. Did you have? Well, we had the original cash, the colorful cash ones, and then the bridge card, and then
and then dogs barking in the background right before you're about to end the episode, and then won't stop because a person out there just doesn't understand that they're so loud that they come through on the microphones and just distract from everything.
They're hype dogs.
Yeah,
they're amping it up.
I wish they were like outside. right? Like most of the time. I wish they were outside.
Did your school have a stigma against food stamps and all of that?
I mean, it was like, I think like just the normal kid thing. Like kids would be weird about it while at the same time having to use them. It was like really weird.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we weren't like rich, but like we were fortunate to not have to be, you know, to use like, you know, bridge card or anything like that. Like my parents always made enough money to where like we could just get the things that we needed. But like I don't know, it was like weird. I guess I was weird because like all my teachers would always like comment on how, I guess, like chill I was, because like there were definitely kids who had like food stamps and they would have to use them at school, and then they would get like teased, and like status stuff like that never really hit my radar, and like teachers would always like comment about that to my parents.
Yay. I didn't eat lunch my senior year because I didn't want to take the free lunch, because they make you say it when you go up there with your tray. They're like, free lunch.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to like
see that. So this was the one thing in my school though. Everyone scammed getting onto free lunch. Like everyone would do what they had to do to get the free lunch, like even if they weren't supposed to get it. Like everyone scammed that. So like almost everyone had free lunch in my school.
Oh, I would have loved that. I would have been like, I am eating every day.
Yeah, no, like literally almost everyone had free lunch in my school, and I would say 80% of the people that had the free lunch scammed it.
Like, I'm happy that it's free now in our state.
Yeah.
Just because it does wipe out any stigma.
Yeah. It was kind of weird that you had to pay for lunch at school. It's like, you're making me be here. Mm-hmm. Like, you should be feeding me. You know, like, I don't want to be here. Like, you're forcing me to do this.
Yeah. It should be mandatory for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All states.
Yeah.
We'll see how long it lasts.
Well, I mean, pretty soon we might not have to even worry about this topic because there might not just be schools anymore. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What a glorious day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the good things always come after I leave, you know?
Mm-hmm. Like, it's... Part of me always feels bad because we get like really dark, but then I'm like, oh, at least you know what they're getting into with the title of our podcast. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not even being sarcastic. I would have been so happy if they like abolished school when I was a kid. And I mean, I was like good at, I was like a decent student. I wasn't like a great student, but I hated it so much.
Yeah.
I really only worked at it as an obligation to my parents. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't because I wanted to do it.
Oh, I missed so much school. And like all throughout, like I missed 80 days my freshman year, 60 days my sophomore year.
Oh wow. Was it like illness or just like not going?
No, it was like it was a very complicated during my high school years. During my elementary, middle school years, it was because my mom had surgery in Colorado every 6 weeks, and we would be out there for like a week at a time each time.
Yeah.
So we would get our homework in advance, and I would like do that. So a ton of it was self-taught. I feel like I could have handled if the education system went down and we would have to just go back to trying to do it ourselves. Yeah, but truancy laws did not come until after we would have been taken away.
So we were allowed 7 unexcused absences before it would affect our grades, and my senior, that was per quarter, 7 unexcused absences per quarter, and I used all 4 quarters my senior year.
So it says 7 times 4 is
28.
28. Yeah, never mind. I was so confident I could handle this thing, and I'm like, what is this sample? multiplication. So yeah, kids nowadays, they only get like, I don't know if it's statewide or district. I'm pretty sure it's statewide, where it's they get 11 for the whole year.
For the whole year?
Yeah.
Jeez, I would have been cooked.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was like, I'm pretty sure it was like 7 per quarter. And like, yeah, I used all of them. I was like, get me out of here. Yeah, I mean, we skipped school a lot my senior year.
That's natural.
Yeah.
We're supposed to.
Yeah.
Senioritis kicking in.
Yeah, I made sure I had the one for senior skip day though. I made sure I had that one in my back pocket. But yeah, what were we gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna be like, I feel like we should call memory loss that as well.
Senioritis.
They're just ready to cash out and just go.
Yeah. That like, yeah, seniors are definitely like just ready to, like, they don't care anymore. Like old people, they don't care anymore. They're like, oh, Trump, yeah, whatever, here you go.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, I already vented to you about my nervousness about performing in Trump rooms, but where are you performing in coming up?
Oh, coming up? Where am I? I have no idea. I knew up to this week, and then I kind of stopped paying attention past this week. I gotta pull my dates up. All right. Where are we? I think this is Tuesday, the 27th. Is that Tuesday? Yeah, that's Tuesday. I'll be in Toledo at Jake's Saloon. I have canceled like the last 2 times I was supposed to be there. I legitimately had shit going on though, like non-comedy stuff that I kind of had to cancel for. But that's Tuesday. Wednesday, I will be at Farver's at the Croswell in Adrian, Michigan. And then I believe this is the week after, March 5th, I will be at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase for the Comedy Rumble during the what's it called? The Ann Arbor Comedy Festival, the Tree. God damn it! Tree Town. I kept wanting to say Tree Fort, and I'm like, no, that's not the one. I'm like, that's not the right festival. Yeah, Tree Town Comedy Festival in Ann Arbor. I will be on the Comedy Rumble on March 5th at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. I will probably lose in the first round.
No, super funny.
No, that's not my format.
Next Thursday, I'll be at Ozone's in Lansing, and then...
Oh, wait, I think I'm on that too.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I am on that too. Yeah, okay. I forgot to put that in my calendar.
So catch Alex and I on Thursday at Ozone's. And then on Friday, I'm doing Hearsay, the showcase there, and then in Ann Arbor. And then on Friday, that was Friday. Saturday, I am actually driving down to Cincinnati to support Wayne Meadmont's album recording.
Nice. His is a special though, right?
Yes, his special recording. And then March 7th, I am in Northville at I think it's the White Buffalo, something Buffalo in Northville. And then the day after that Saturday, I will be in Fort Wayne, Indiana for a great fundraiser show. And I can't remember the location for that right now. It'll be
we'll have one more recording before that happens.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for having me over, and it was fun seeing you again.
Yeah. Till the next time we decide to do this. It may be next week. It may be 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
We're here to keep you on
need
your
to say
toes.
thank you.